First of all, if a show is good, give it credit where credit is due. Starting today, we are going to start giving reboots a chance before we trash them. Today, we are going to be using three show examples to help convince you that not all reboots are bad. Example 1, The Descendants franchise. Now, a lot of fans are upset that they made another movie without Carlos, and I understand that. But I think they don't need to be upset about that because the original cast stories has ended, thus making way for new stories to start. From the beginning of the franchise, it would be quite obvious that the cast would change over time, being that it is a show about villains and royalty, and there are many tales that still haven't been touched yet. So, therefore, there are a lot of storylines still left to be told. Having the original cast in it still, when their stories already have a happy ending, wouldn't really make much sense because why would you keep telling the same story after an official happy ending? If there was more to their story, they wouldn't have done a happy ending storyline. People need to understand that even if Cameron Boyce was alive, he and the others from the original cast still wouldn't be in the movie. I honestly think that Descendants could even do more movies after this fourth installment, and they would be great because each movie would be telling a different story while still being somehow intertwined with previous movies, just like with the whole scenario of Uma being the principal of the school. Let me tell you, the movie hasn't come out yet, but the official trailer is looking like the movie will be a great hit. And I say might be, and I'm only saying might be because the movie has not come out yet. But it honestly looks like the fourth installment is about to trash the original three, as you fans would call it. The production of the show is bigger than anything we have ever seen from the franchise before, and it made me, who is a diehard Descendants fan, more excited for this movie than I ever was for the last three installments, and I thought that wasn't possible. Example number 2. Another reboot that I would love to shed some light on is the 90210 2008 reboot. I love the fact that they named it 90210 instead of Beverly Hills 90210 because this gives them a chance to kind of establish their own show while still successfully existing in the same universe as the original. I enjoy the fact that they made these characters effortlessly relatable while still successfully going over the top with the storylines and drama. Despite everyone dating each other, the relationships were some of the best on screen relationships I have ever seen in my life. None of these relationships were boring. Even if the couple were together for a long period of time, they still found a way to keep us on the edge of our seats. I say this because usually in TV shows, when a couple is together for a long time, it sometimes turns into a snooze fest, but not for 90210 relationships. They kept their fans very much engaged throughout. Another amazing thing about the show was they didn't have the old cast make random cameos like in many other reboots. These characters actually helped with the development of the characters from the reboot. This actually made their cameos make sense and they added to the show's storyline, which I thought was genius. And I think other reboots should do that when they bring on cast from the original shows. This show knew how to do a reboot without trying too hard. And for the last reboot example, one that I personally think is better than the original is Mako Mermaids and H2O. I have an entire video breaking down why I think Mako Mermaids is better than H2O, so if you want a more in-depth explanation, you can go check it out. But basically, Mako Mermaids had a lot more in terms of storylines that gave viewers a lot more to be on the edge of their seat for than the original ever did. And yes, I get your love for H2O because I love it so much so that before I started watching Mako Mermaids, I said that I hope I enjoy Mako Mermaids, but it won't surpass the original for me because I love that show too much. But I was greatly surprised that I enjoyed it more. I'm using this particular example to say I was just like you at one point in my life. Being one of those people who hated genuinely good reboots just because I'm loyal to the original. but I learned from watching H2O, the H2O reboot, that I should give credit where credit is due, and you should too. I'm using these examples to say that having the original cast in a spin off or reboot is not necessary. The storylines, scripts, and even down to tinier details such as the fashion is what makes a good show, not whether the original cast is in it or not. To be honest, I believe that a lot of reboots slash spin offs fail because of bad storylines slash bad writing. And yes, sometimes the acting isn't the best either, but a lot of the times they are actually really great. It's mainly the writing of the whole show that is off. What I also don't understand is how people miss the part where that in none of these meanings of both reboots and spin-offs does it allude to the fact that these shows have to have the original cast. It literally means doing something different from the original or heavily drawing inspiration from the original to make a new story or continue the old one. And sometimes continuing a story means that you might get new characters or completely different casts based on the storyline of the show. I do believe that giving reboots and spin-offs a chance are worth it. Why? Is because I used to be just like the spin-off and reboot haters, but I completely changed because of one series and its reboot that I still can't believe I enjoyed even today, and that is H2O and its reboot Mako Mermaids. I had said that I will watch Mako Mermaids, but I won't like it better than H2O, but ended up liking it better than H2O, which actually shocked me to my core because I couldn't believe it. It just was that good. The thing is, sequels aren't bad, they're just misunderstood. Making a follow up film is a unique challenge with a very specific set of decisions. And that nuance helps explain why so many sequels are, well, not good, but also offers a blueprint for making a really great one. In conclusion, reboots and spin offs don't need the original cast to be in it. It's just heavily dependent on the storyline and the writing that makes for a good show. So, really, people need to stop blaming a spin off or reboot's failure on the original cast not returning because that's not why it failed. And just one last thing, out of all these examples, I think the 90210 reboot is a perfect example for directors and producers to use when making a reboot. Yes, I know, guys, reboots are generally bad, hence why viewers hate them, but I am still for giving them a chance by watching the first episode of the show or first couple minutes of the movie before declaring it as being trash. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and you guys have a wonderful day. And stop being reboot and spin off haters now. Kiss, kiss. Bye.